people of the internet. Ian Altosaar, the Freedom Astrologer, once again here, and doing another dose of freedom for you guys here. And this dose of freedom will be around spiritual topics, around visions, around dreams. And this video is very much directed towards people who are having spiritual awakenings, who are having spiritual experiences. They're having prophetic dreams, they're having visions. And these are maybe even new for you. These are scary for you. You're kind of tipping your toes just into this world. And also for people who, let's say maybe in childhood did have more of these visions, but you know, as life goes, we suppress these gifts at times when we need to survive. And also, you know, now as adults, we start to understand these start to come back, these gifts, these understandings, these experiences start to come back. And now we kind of don't really know what to do with them and what they even are and how to navigate and manage them. And, you know, sometimes we might even think we're crazy or are going crazy as well. So I've done a lot of videos on kind of like suppressed gifts and, you know, childhood wounds and so on and so forth. So please go and check those out. But I will, in this video, I will mostly focus on, let's say, the spiritual side of things, but I will do my best to put it in a more kind of intellectual way, in a more kind of left brain way, so the two worlds kind of fuse together. And you can see on my left there's you know, a person, a human being that is seemingly very much connected to the universe and everything around it. And this is one of the things we do want, we yearn for, we desire, but sometimes subconsciously we don't even know it. And I'm going to do my best to share some of my experiences with this and some things I've learned. And in the end of the video, actually, I'm also going to share a vision that I had end of 2020, or even let's say end of summer 2020, about the current times, about a little bit even before the current times, and how it's manifested as well, and also give you some pointers to kind of navigate these matters, navigate these waters as well. So let's go into this topic. It's a big one. It might take me a little bit of a long time. I have like 3 pages of paragraphs of notes I've written, so it's going to take a while. So sit back, sit tight. If you want, obviously take notes as well. So we're talking about here visions and dreams. Now there are many types of dreams that we can have, and I'm going to, right now, quite soon, I'm going to show you what is the difference of one kind of dream and difference between a more deeper dream, where you might be presented the future or visions, or even spirits might come, or your guides might come in. And yes, you have spirit guides as well. It was quite a news to me as well when I first started understanding it. And so let's go into different states of consciousness and different dream states. Now, the dreams in general, when we're having dreams, usually in those moments, the spirit guides that we have around us, that the universe, the ancestors we have around us, usually these are the moments where for them it's much easier to connect with us. So the veils of the two worlds are thinner, and in my experience it takes less energy for them to connect with us in those states, or dream states, in different dream states. And especially important for people who are more kind of starting to come into this space and starting to have these experiences from a left brain kind of world. And you've been, let's say you've been working from in a corporate world. It's very analytical, it's very logical. So, if you are in that space and, you look maybe over your shoulder or, right, and you see a ghost there or a spirit or energies popping up there immediately, you can suppress the fear in you can be so great that you can suppress it again even more and more and more. So this is also one of the reasons that I've seen and experienced that almost when the guides and spirits want to connect with you more, they start in the dreams, in the dream states. And so it's easier for them. And if you're already you're hearing like spirit guides and, energies and ghosts and visions and future and seeing the future, and you're kind of like, what is this guy talking about? Start to at best do your best to release judgment and listen to the information I have, and then you can you can basically judge me as well. So obviously, for a lot of you guys out there, some of these things that I'm talking about is quite prevalent in your experience. So it's not anything super new, but for some, again, it's suppressed. So the things that I'm more discussing are here for you to understand that if these things start to happen to you, it's not that you're going crazy, but you're actually connecting to spirit, connecting to your spirit guides, connecting to human consciousness, other realms of existence. And there are most likely a lot of messages coming your way that you're kind of not aware of yet. Now, first, I dissect the dreams into two. These are the very common, let's say more common dreams. So the first is like daily dreams. I call them, basically whatever is going on during the day. We talk to somebody, we listen to something, and then we go to bed at night and we kind of like see similar images around that. We even maybe see a conversation around that. Almost like same things that we're kind of discussing, experiencing during the day. It can come 2-3 days later as well. So it's not that it has to be one or during the same day. So this is one of the, I would say, most common dreams we have, and nothing really special about it. And I think most everybody at least sometimes see those kinds of dreams. Now the next ones in this category, like more common ones, are subconscious dreams. Subconscious dreams, in my opinion, have more value in them, and I definitely recommend writing these down. I think they're quite important, but at times they can be very, very almost surreal. And the symbolism there, this is one of the biggest ones with subconscious dreams. Symbolism is very important, but the symbolism can get really crazy, and dissecting all of that symbolism within a dream, very weird stuff, animals, and maybe even be like weird things you're seeing there, about friends, about long lost people, or even weirder events that might come. It can get a lot to dissect, but I still think there's a lot of value if you take the time to dissect these dreams, to write them down, to kind of research, to research some of the animal symbolism and stuff like that. That helps to dissect. Like, for example, if you see a car, now it depends on the type of car you see, but a car in a dream very often is a symbol for your ambition and actually drive in life as well. So almost like the color of the car, the emotion, what you have in the dream, and as well as the type of car you have in the dream, all talk about our current ambition, drive that we have in the world. So not a lot of people know that, but important to research these as well, but it can take time. I recommend you put time in. So now let's move into, like, these were the more, common dreams. Most everybody experiences them very often, almost every day, you have at least something. But now let's go into the deeper layers of dreaming. And this is, I think, some of it is common knowledge, but a lot of it is also for people who are stepping into these places. It's not that common. So the first is lucid dreams. So lucid dreaming is where you understand in a dream that you are actually dreaming, you become conscious of it, and you start to basically create or do whatever you want in that lucid dream. And it's I would say it's a pretty fun experience to have, especially at first. You're kind of like, whoa, I woke up in a dream. What do I do now? And the funny thing is, you can do a lot there, but in a short while, it will get to a point of, okay, so what's new here? Because it's, to me, lucid dreaming is you can experience fun feelings, you can experience fun emotions, you can experience things. It's very hard to experience, or it takes time. Let's put it that, not always hard, but it takes time to experience in real life, in this material reality of ours. But in these lucid states, lucid dreaming states, you can immediately, basically how it works there in that situation is, you understand that you're dreaming, and now you have a desire, and you can immediately create that desire, like that, basically. But I would say, in my opinion, like, it gets old a little bit, once you understand. But it's a good way to understand that these are actually, like, the dream states are altered states of consciousness. I would say this is one of the biggest points of this video as well. Dreams are altered states of consciousness. And this is why I'm showing you the layers that you can start to relate to these dream states, not as, I would say, the mainstream depicts it, but as altered states of consciousness. So lucid dreaming is fun, and I'll give you a fun tip as well if you want to kind of know to maybe instigate more of these. Is definitely write your dreams down, but you can very often, at first what I did was, and I heard this a lot, was whenever you start to turn off the light in that dream and it doesn't turn off, then it's kind of like a switch that, oh, okay, I'm dreaming, and I can now create reality. This is a one way to kind of understand it, to kind of come out of that. It's almost like when you're sleeping and you're in it's, some of the dreams feel like almost like a haze, but this lucid dream, this is a clear, very clear dream. And that the light switch is kind of like a cool trick to, because if you, even before you go to bed, before you start to sleep, and you remember that light trick, like even when I go there and I try to switch off the light and it doesn't go, you know that you're dreaming. Now, the next part, now we go even deeper, and this is where it starts to get interesting, guys. Now, the next one that I list is astral realm explorations. So, a bit similar to the lucid dreams, but this is where you start to basically ask for information, and you already are a little bit more connected with your spirit guides. You are connected with spirit. Let's say maybe you have some spiritual practices, you kind of feel the energies already, something starts happening. And now now you have some deep questions about the universe, the life, your relationships, you know, bigger questions than maybe even you can find answers to immediately, you know, Googling. Let's put it that way. And this is very much a feeling of almost being taken to another reality, another dimension. And I feel, I must say also, it's not always like you're taken specifically, but you're also, you go there. The desire to go there on your own as well is a good way to, like, to have that desire, to know that already is kind of like the first indication for you to be taken there, or for you to actually go there. So a neat trick to bring about these experiences more is to experience yourself before going to bed, almost with your consciousness somewhere else that you know of. You know, maybe it's your friend's house, or maybe it's your family's house, or, you know, some sort of other place other than your home, where you're sleeping, basically. You know, it can be the Madison Square Garden or whatever, you know. But it basically, you're with your consciousness, you're going there and you're sitting there and you're being there. This is one neat trick that I've learned that kind of helps, but the desire is more important. The questions, the asking for knowledge, the desire to understand deeper things, and prayer are even more. And I don't mean religious prayer here. I mean almost like a connection or a dialogue with the universe, with your guides. This is what I mean by prayer, actually. Now, you are, after you kind of like done those things, it might take a while. It might take a really long time, sometimes with the bigger questions specifically. And very similar to the lucid dream, in a sense. It seems very clear. This dream, you understand that you're awake. You're kind of like almost taking from that haze that I mentioned earlier and put into a different space. That time, what is being shown to you. And sometimes, you know, it happens spontaneously as well, because it's time for you to know something, to understand something on a deeper level, or sometimes you've been asking something and then you're kind of like taken and put into that space where the answers are there, basically. And you know, there are the difference between lucid dreams and astral realm, in my opinion, one of the biggest ones, guys. Lucid dreams, things happen like this very quickly. In astral realms, it's more like, okay, so I see this, I see that, I'm experiencing this. You feel everything. You can, you know, sense, feel, intuit everything. But the movement, and you can explore these worlds and understand more. You can explore, but it happens not exactly like on material plane, but like almost you can understand the same, like the speed of things is quite similar. Yes, you can fly there and stuff like that, but still, you know, it's a little bit more similar than like lucid dreams, like happening like this. So there's a difference. Now, what can happen in these astral realms? You can see, obviously, you can see entities as well. This is a bit of a longer topic, and I do always, you know, kind of expressed to be more careful with the entities, to understand who you're communicating with, and to ask questions. Ask questions. If you ever find an entity or come across an entity, what I've always done is I've asked a bunch of questions. And yeah, I just remembered one of those experiences. It was pretty intense. I might bring it sometime on a video as well, but I think I'm not ready to share that one as of yet. But basically the gist here is, it's clear. You will get information about the potential realities. You will start to understand what is more deeply going on with some of the things that might be going on even now in the real world, or it might be specific to you, depending on what's happening. And you might even see the future. You might see the future potential of you or the society in general. It's very clear. It's the thing here you must understand. It's very, 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 very specifically clear. It's what I've experienced with this. It's never kind of like, subconscious, subliminal messages or symbolism. It's not there. It's very clear. You can understand, you can feel, and it kind of moves. It's almost like you're swimming there, but the swimming is done a little bit more quickly, so you can explore things more quickly. At first, waking up in these spaces does take more time because of the fear factor, because just your consciousness isn't used to this. You haven't, done this before, or maybe you've done a little bit, and then you just have to get used to it. And the big thing here is, if you are good with feeling fears, feeling your feelings and emotions, the easier it is there in those realities as well, because there are other things that can cause some fear for you. And even like for some people, seeing future things, because future things aren't always super pleasant, that is also a cause for fear. Now the next one I put, you don't have to just like put a number on them, 1, 2, 3 or something, but I wanted to kind of dissect them in a way you can understand the difference here as well. So the next one I put future dreams. Now future dreams, yes, you can, like I mentioned, you can see future in the astral realms as well, but future dreams are again quite clear. But the difference here with the astral realms is they feel and seem more like a regular, the daily or subconscious dream. But it's a little bit more clear. The information can be distorted here at times. But one of the biggest things here is you can't explore. You can't see. There's no feeling of being taken or going anywhere. It's just shown to you. So, for example, I have a good example of this from my own life. I had a dream that my boss, it was like, I think 7 years ago or something, like a lot of years ago. My boss back at the time was fired. I had the dream, and even in the dream, the new boss was hired, and kind of like I had a good rapport with the new boss. And the next day, basically, the old boss got fired, and a couple of days, maybe a week later, the new guy was there. So, and I had a pretty good rapport with the new guy. So it was a pretty interesting one for me, because I couldn't explore anything. There wasn't any super subliminal subconscious things, but I just had, that kind of message given to me, like, this is going to happen, and new people or new person is going to come in. And in my experience, in my understanding, this is also where the guides and the spirits, they're actually kind of like preparing you as well for bigger things, to start understanding, to start actually paying attention. I want to really stress this one, guys. Start paying attention. Start paying attention to your dreams. Start paying attention to your intuition, because they're wanting your attention. They're wanting they're actually wanting to guide you a lot. And these are like the first, I would say, these types of dreams are easier to experience. These kind of earthly dreams, easier to experience. It doesn't bring so much fear. So it's easier to later on go into those other realms and start experiencing that. So remember that, future dreams, and write it down, write it down, write it down. Now, next one. This is an important one, a really important one, because this is the dream, let's say, state, vision state, altered consciousness state that I'm going to share with you in the end of the video about the vision or the information I was given. And this is the vision is about this specific state. Now, these I call as dreams where ancestors visit. Now, this is a very specific kind of dream. This is very often, again, more clear, vivid. You can feel, you can sense a lot. Very often, the dream starts with some kind of activity, with some sort of place known to you as well. And you will be in that space, and suddenly your passed on relative or deceased ancestor comes, and it's still kind of dreamy, and it's kind of like, ooh, like hazy, like I said before. But now the shift comes in, and you start, the click again goes, and you understand that you are actually dreaming. You're in that altered state of consciousness, which is very important. They understand it as well. This is also important. They immediately understand that when you are, again, awakened in that state of consciousness, because that means you're more open to that communication with them as well. Now, I do put these, let's say, ancestor dreams or passed on relative, even if you had some friend that was really close to you, like one of my, let's say, close young friends committed, unfortunately, suicide at a very young age. And it still brings some sort of sadness and grief for me, but actually him visiting me a lot in these more clear, vivid states of consciousness, and me being able to communicate with him in a very clear manner, like you and I here, has helped me to deal with that grief definitely a lot, and actually kind of understand more deeply about life and death. That these people, these energy consciousness, these souls, they don't actually, disappear. They're here. We can communicate with them. They want to communicate with us as well. Important to understand. So it doesn't always have to be an ancestor. Usually it is somebody very close to you, but it can be a friend who's passed on, who you had a really good connection with. Now, let's dissect even this type of ancestor closed passed on relative dream into two. And the first one is a little bit lighter. Here, the communication is almost like kind of subliminal, or more deeper. There's no actual, there are words. I can say words almost. But I would say the interaction is more energetic, and they are symbolizing or showing you something kind of in a more passive way. It's really hard to describe this one, but it happens quite often, or depending on where you're at. And there are good messages here, and sometimes it's even like they bring in some sort of memory, an emotional reaction, feeling to be released. This is very important. Actually, this one I think is the most important one with this. And when they are there, you can see, you can kind of feel them. There's some other symbolism there. There's energy exchange there, but it's not kind of like, information exchange that I'm going to talk to you in the second part, but it's more like some sort of emotional reaction happens within you in that dream, and when you wake from that dream, you feel like almost like a weight has lifted or some sort of sadness has been brought up, and you need to process it. But it's a most often it's a good kind of processing. It's almost like a letting go there. Important to understand. Now the second part here with the ancestors and closed passed on relative dreams is in these dreams, again, you understand that you're in an altered state of consciousness. They understand it. It's very clear. It's very vivid. There's usually some sort of, again, an energetic, pulsating feeling there. But now, in this case, 2 pointers I have for you so far that have been, or sorry, 3 even, and to understand when this communication is about to happen, and even to help you understand how you know that you're in a dream, or in that altered state of consciousness, so it's easier for you to become aware. So guys, I really want you to shift a little bit of your ideas about dreams to say they're just dreams. These are actually altered states of consciousness. It's, it's like we're here right now, but it's a little different. And we call them, in our modern, more material society, we call them dreams, which is okay. But altered states of consciousness. Okay, so 3 things to keep an eye on. Their mouth is never moving when they speak. Really important. Really freaking important. If it starts moving, something is off. It might be some other entity. If it shouldn't be moving, basically, guys. Remember, write it down. Really important. Second part. Eyes, around the eyes, there can be black color, or even around the mouth, blackish color. Also found a useful kind of to understand what is happening, to be awakened. Now, the last one I've experienced, think twice. I hope I have it in my kind of written down. It's something also important. Their mouth can be even seemingly stitched together. But again, it's never moving when you're communicating. And again, why am I sharing this? Because it can be scary to understand the first time, like you're communicating with a spirit, who your left brain, again guys, left brain knows they're passed on. So how can you possibly communicate with them? That's where the fear comes, and that's where the confusion and misunderstanding comes, because it's been, really hammered into our brains and heads that it can't be done, blah, blah, blah. They're all gone. They're never here, whatever the case is. I can feel myself getting agitated. If that's the case, man, I would say I'm pretty crazy. Just a joke, guys. Just a joke. But yeah, so it can be scary at first. They will, at first times this happens to you, it can get the best of you, the fear. Literally, you can just pull your consciousness away from that state, meaning wake up, and you're kind of scared and you're shaking. Don't be worried. Don't be scared in that sense. Nothing happens to them that I first and foremost, I haven't seen anything happening to them like in a bad way. If you do that, if you get scared, the energy can get really intense in those moments. Like I said, impulses like happening there, energetic waves. But with practice and feeling fear, this can get a lot better. You can start to communicate with them, and they will contact you again. Now, when the connection is up, and you're kind of there in that state, you know, you're communicating, never mouth is open or is always closed. And usually in my experience, they are the ones who initiate the communication. Again, it's energetic, but you understand every word that they're saying. And usually, in my experience, they start with, okay, I'm here, like, ask away. What's your question? What do you want to ask? And this is, again, a place where you can trip up because you're like, oh, is this possible? Is this happening? You kind of don't know what to ask. But then the next times, you most often have the question ready for you, for yourself actually, and then you can present it to them. Again, you're not speaking any words, you're not mumbling or anything. Again, it's all telepathic. It's happening energetically. Now, yeah, I think I covered that one. So don't be scared, guys. I know it's a lot, but if you're watching this, most likely some of these are happening to you or with you, and you're kind of wanting it to happen more as well. So do that, guys. So again, ask them the question, listen to what they're saying. It can get so intense. I recommend afterwards, immediately as you can, write it down. Write as many details of it down, because sometimes they can give you a lot and it's like, whoa, you know, it expands the consciousness of you, and it's like, whoa, what's okay, oh, I can't understand, or I can understand, but it's a lot. And you need to write it down for it to settle down in your consciousness, for you to understand it later and bring it to whoever, or maybe, you know, it's not always to be shared. And yeah, the writing down will definitely help you the next time as well they come. You'll be more ready. Now, this is where we get to the last part, the most intriguing part, in my opinion. I mean, they're all, for me, most intriguing. You know, maybe, you know, even the lucid ones are pretty fascinating at times. You know, get to enjoy yourself for a little while at least. But this is the last one that I've kind of put here and dissected it, is the dreams. And I wouldn't call them, again, dreams. These are altered states of consciousness, or prophetic dreams, or altered prophetic states of consciousness, where your guides, I would even call them like soul family, contacts you directly, very directly. These started actually happening to me personally when I visited an energy healer, a Reiki. I think she was a Reiki energy. You know, it was such a long time, 2012, I think it was, 10 years ago. Jesus Christ! And I visited the healer. They opened up a lot of things within me. I grieved, I cried, I let go of a lot of stuff, but also very quickly what started happening was something I will describe to you now. And these states are, even at times, you can almost, you know, seemingly be awake. You can see some of the room. It's very clear. Again, sometimes it's not even seeing, you know, most often I've even seen the room I've been in, but I've at the same time know that I'm kind of almost like dreaming and I'm seeing the same thing. And this is where it very often starts with, for me, it has started with a voice, a very strong voice. I would call it as clear as day. Maybe at first it's a little bit muffled, but then it gets very, 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 very loud. And that voice is speaking directly to you personally. Now, this can put you in a state of fear, definitely, because it's so intense. But, guys, again, the more this happens to you, the easier it is to handle. and you're kind of know next time it comes like no, giving you information, it's easier to handle. Now, what also is, in my experience, always, every time I've had these experiences with the voice, with the messages, with the words, and you could, I've never seen anybody in that case, never. This is one of the strangest things, but the voice is, clear as day, I would say, but it's almost like, it seems like somebody very big is speaking to you. Now, the thing that always comes with this is energetic waves. These are energetic waves of healing. In my experience, energetic waves of healing. So what this means, there's so much intensity, there's so much, what I can only describe as love energy pouring through your body, pouring through your consciousness. It's so intense. It's nothing, no alcohol, no drug, whatever state you've done. I'm betting that it won't be even close to this feeling, this sensation. It's something otherworldly, I would say. And when you come out of that experience, actually, I want to say that when you come out of that experience, you feel totally healed, totally refreshed, I would say, totally cleared. And this state after that dream can even take or last for a week. In my experience, it lasts for a week. Then the material world usually comes to kind of meddle with it a little bit. Now, sometimes the words are so big, and you can get so scared. You can't remember even when you wake what was exactly said. But I kind of like urge you to, if this starts happening to, or it has happened to, do your best to be with the sensations, feelings, and then you can focus on the messages as well. But having said that, even experiencing that, clearing that feeling, sensation, that clarity, that refreshness is something of a gift, I would say, and definitely be grateful when it happens to you. And yeah, your next kind of like week, you don't need to sleep that much. You're so energized from that experience, for sure. Now, guys, I will share. Now it's time to share the actual vision, the actual reason why I even wanted to do this video. And for some of you, it might seem strange. What's so special? For me, I will explain why it was so special as well. So for me, this specific vision was given to me, or this specific communication happened. Again, I will kind of use the correct words. This specific interaction happened around end of August 2020. And if you remember that, guys, it was a time when we just had the first lockdown. We just had the kind of like first scare. Everybody was kind of freaked out. We had it. I think it was, from March or from February, we had like 3-month lockdown, 4-month lockdown. People were alone in their apartments, in their homes. Many people were scared. A lot of people had, what do you do alone all the time? So, you can say that a lot of people were let's say awakened from this dream that we only have this material reality and we don't have this spiritual reality. They had more time to research, look at things, understand things, maybe look at videos like this one. And during that time, I had one of those states of altered consciousness where my passed on or deceased great aunt, who I would say pretty close to in real life, she took care of me during a lot of summers, and we shared a lot of years together, and there was always this kind of warmth that I felt from her towards me. And she came to me, and at first I was a little bit maybe surprised, but I had experiences with her in previous meetings. Let's put it that way. But this time she had a very specific message, and the thing I asked her at first, because I was a little bit surprised. I was kind of, oh, but I asked her, does she have a very, literally, this is what I asked. Does she have a very specific message for me right now that is important? And she answered me really quickly, like, again, no words, only telepathic, no mouth moving, that during the end of the year 2020, 40 million light workers, light warriors will be awakened even more. So after that, the connection ended, and I woke from that experience, or came back from that experience, and I was a little bit confused to what to do with that information. I shared it with a couple of mentors, and they kind of confirmed my experience. And it wasn't until I kind of like decided to do this, video even, I kind of understood why it was shown to me, why the connection was there. But in the moment, later on, as couple days, weeks went on, I personally, what this message personally for me did was, it motivated me to give more, to make more products, to to almost prepare myself more for what is to come in our earthly experience. Because if you have, or if you are going through spiritual awakening right now, you will know that it's not all like it's described in The Secret. It's not, just visualization boards, and it's like law of attraction. In a way, it is law of attraction, but it's dark at times as well. It's difficult. And we need more people, in my mind, to be here, who are, let's say, who have gone through these stages of spiritual awakening. They are more connected to other realms already, because there will be more and more and more people, like in this communication, 2020, end of 2020, 40 million more people were awakened. And if you remember, if you turn back the clock, the time, it was literally the time when we had another lockdown, another, just the crisis kind of evolved. And in my opinion, I saw a lot of people start to ask questions. And now, one of the reasons why I'm sharing this now is, you can see that it's happening. You can also see, Jupiter in Pisces, conjunction Neptune, a lot of kind of like spiritual energy is thrown at us. It means a lot more people will be open to it, a lot more people will be understanding of it. And this is one of the reasons I'm sharing it as well, for people to understand that they're not going crazy, that they're experiencing actually communication with other realms, other entities, their ancestors, that this is normal. This is where we're more headed as a society, to be more connected, to be these interstellar species, but also interdimensional species, to communicate, to understand, to learn from each other, and to be supported as well. Now, the next thing I want to share, this is the end of the video. I've gone almost an hour. I think there's a lot of information here, guys, but I hope this also, for those of you maybe more, advanced on your journeys, been awakened or were awakened a long time ago, this kind of vision also motivates you guys to create more tools for these people who are being awakened, create more understanding, create more information, create more helpful things for these people who are going through this, who are searching for answers, who are searching for meaning. Definitely, it's a big one, guys. Searching for meaning. Hope it motivates you as well. So, for those of you who are new to these energies and maybe experiencing some of these visions already, like to get it more precise, let's put it that way, or more clear, the connection. So here are my tips for you to take it even further on your own. These are a gift from my suffering to yours, and from my mentors that have helped me to you as well. So first and foremost, prayer and meditation, definitely important one, because we need clarity, we need understanding, we need to understand what we're doing. Prayer and meditation create that clarity. I would suggest you do it before bed, morning time. Again, easier to go into those states of consciousness if it's already happening and if that contact is being initiated. Now, the second point kind of ties into the first one, setting intentions. I would like, for example, I would like to connect to you, my guides, because, there's some sort of thing you're curious about, you want to know something about the world, the universe, yourself, your life. Why is it like this? Why is the society like this? These guides, there are definitely these energies, these guides, ancestors. They are constantly connecting with you anyway. They're kind of sending hidden clues. Maybe you feel an energy in the room. Maybe you feel some sort of almost like a touch or breeze there. But one of the things that people tend to ignore very often and suppress a lot, because we're so used to suppressing our intuition, is you get a very, very strong pull towards doing something or calling someone or reading something. Very, very strong. You can't shake it. Only with suppression you can shake it. But this constant feeling you need to do something, this is also guidance literally given to you from, the guides, the universe, whoever you want to call it, ancestors, definitely. So the fourth thing I put here is, so do that, definitely start paying attention to these things. So the fourth thing is gratitude and humor, because some of the things they're going to say, there's some of the things they're going to kind of give to you is funny, it's weird, and once you make that connection, once that information is given to you and you see the connection there, be grateful. The more grateful you are, the more they will show you, and you can ask for more. One of my mentors, Joe Greenland, always says, ask for more. And her or his partner, Cindy Edson, always say, ask for more. ask to be shown more. So I do recommend it tremendously. And the fifth one is stay open in the ways they can contact you or connect with you. So I gave you a lot, obviously, throughout this hour, but there are other ways, weird ways, and be open, be prepared. You can see, sometimes people go into visions on their 2 feet while they're at the office. Now, from an astrological point of view, what I've experienced a lot is during new moons, during full moons, they can contact you easily. Easily is probably not a word, but easier to contact during new and full moons, especially in the sign of Pisces, Sagittarius, Cancers, or if the moons are specifically happening in your natal chart in the 12th, 8th, or 4th house. These are the times when even to pay even more attention, more visions, more dreams, more understanding, more altered states of consciousness. The last part is dedication and time. Now, I started this video with, if these gifts, if these visions were suppressed during childhood, it can take more time. So you need to work with this They will give you constantly clues and information, keep you up at night. You can't sleep for some reason. Probably something you're not doing in real life. Yeah, the more left brain you kind of are, the more you need to prove to yourself as well. Because even if you're really left brain and these visions and experiences start happening to you, you're kind of at first you're still like, yeah, maybe not. Maybe, you find some weird excuse for these, and you constantly find more excuses. You can always find some excuse, but as they, try to let go of that as well and start to almost like prove to yourself. And proving to yourself is, I think, one of the ways they help with this is they literally give you, like I shared this story with one of the bosses there. They give you these practical things that come true, and then you're kind of like, oh, I can't really ignore this anymore. But at first you will do your best to ignore it. Guys, that's it for me. Long hour, I know. Hopefully it gave you a lot of things to chew on. Hopefully it guides you. Hopefully it makes sense to you. Hopefully it is really something you can use in your life, and it helps you to navigate these not so clear waters at times. But you can see with experience, with observations, with doing and writing down, and we can start to put things behind these experiences. It doesn't have to be all woo woo totally. We can make sense of these things. We can enter in more conscious dialogue with these areas and with these people, with these entities, with these energies, with our guides, with the universe. Ian Altosaar, the Freedom Astrologer. Really grateful, guys, for you who made it this far. Thank you very much. See you again in the next video.